Righto guys, Tillix setup is done. A little bit of fine tuning needed, but so far it's pretty good. So for you guys that sort of are a bit baffled by the whole system, alright, so I'll try and explain it as how I understand it. Our actuators work on vacuum. Inside is a spring that forces against that vacuum. So basically what we're doing is we draw a full vacuum onto our actuator, which gives us full boost. Now what the valve does is it takes pressure from the boost line, feeds it through the valve, which there is a spring in here and a little tapper at this end. Once the boost is enough to overcome the spring pressure, it allows air to travel through into our vacuum line, which then reduces the vacuum and allows the actuator spring to take over to open the vanes and reducing the boost pressure, sort of like opening the waste gate in simpler terms. Now, of course, the tighter you have the spring, the more boost you need to push against the spring to reduce the pressure in the vacuum line. At the moment, I've got this set at the 3 threads or 3 full turns from the start. So basically how I did that is I undone it and I held them close together and kept on doing it slowly until I felt a click. That's the threads dropping into each other for the start, and so from that point I used the Tillix logo and did 3 full rotations, locked it up. That has given me 20 psi on the dot. Love it. Now the needle gauge, what this does is it allows a slow bleed from the resonator box into the vacuum system. Now the reason it does that is because if you had full vacuum on the actuator all the time, it wouldn't come down at all. You'd be running maximum boost 100% at the time in your higher RPM range, because this turbo will be spinning flat out trying to get enough pressure to open your Tillix valve. So what we need is a bleed in system. So what this valve does is it allows a slow bleed into the vacuum system. So when the engine is not under full power, you have a little bit of reduced vacuum in your lines, so the spring can do its thing and open the vanes, or like I said, open theoretically the waste gate. So that is my understanding of it. The tighter you have this, the higher your boost. The tighter you have this, the quicker the spool rate, but also the higher the unloaded RPM, high RPM boost. So at the moment I've got that set, as you can see, probably 8mm out. I found it only took, I've put a little file mark on the top there so I can tell where it is. I found that 1/8 of a turn went from being as laggy as all hell. And even with this Tillix, I didn't touch the Tillix, my boost dropped to 15 psi, but it was real laggy, and EGT shot through the roof straight away. So I've wound that back 1/8 of a turn. I'm now sitting on 15 to 16 psi at 100 k's an hour and hitting full boost at around 1800 RPM. I've got a little bit of boost flutter in the lower gears, the quicker acceleration, but I haven't fitted the buffer yet. But you know, I'm happy with that. More, you know, we drive this car sensibly. We're not into doing burnouts and shit. So, you know, we're not foot to the floor drivers. You know, we sort of accelerate with the car with our foot. So, yeah, happy days, guys. Hopefully, that's a bit of an overrun for you. Cheers.